We're here at GDLX 2024. I'm here with Harvey from Studio Morgan with Morgan Metal Detective. So this is kind of, I remembered it, that's twice today in the first go. This is kind of a cozy looking exploration adventure type thing. What's the vibe?
I think you got some of the first tags on Steam there, so well done. Yeah. I mean, it's cozy with a Z, because cozy with a Z rules, apparently. So it's a first-person metal detecting game.
Okay.
So you explore the fictional Cornish island of Glaston, searching for stuff that people have lost. So it's all very cozy, like you properly identified.
Yeah.
No one's going to kill you. It's very safe, and you explore the island at your own pace. It's got a bit of a narrative lean to it, so there's an overarching story with your grandpa, who recently passed away, but you're left his metal detector, so you become the island's new metal detective.
Yes. So you've ruined the property prices on Glaston now, because everyone's going to want to move there. It's going to be £1 million for a cottage.
Well, I think actually all of the property value has gone down because they're all dug up. Yeah, I mean, you're allowed to go into anyone's garden and dig the garden up with...
So it's kind of an anarchist island in a way.
So, I mean, like, in the real world of metal detecting, you need permission.
Yeah.
So it's like the start of Jet Set Radio, where it says graffitiing on private property is illegal. Don't do it. Maybe we should have similar.
You should have a disclaimer just in case. You wouldn't want to be responsible for a sort of wave of rogue metal detectors.
Well, I mean, so there is a church in the game with a graveyard, and we've made the explicit decision not to put any items in the graveyard.
Good. Seems wise. So what was it that inspired this game originally, other than wanton vandalism? What was it that made you think of this idea?
I think it's literally, metal detecting is almost a game already. So, like, I don't know if you've ever done it, but, like, it's addictive. Yeah. And so, like, Holly's uncle is a detectorist. Mm-hmm. So, like, he lives out in Essex, and he'll leave home with shovel, metal detector, and he'll go out at, like, 7 in the evening and start looking for stuff. Sometimes he won't come home till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, God.
It's like, it's got his head torch on. It's just, next hole.
And so how does the metal detecting itself unfold the story without any spoilers, obviously? How does this function?
So each of the characters, we quite conveniently have lost something, and that happens to be made of metal. So...
See what you did there.
So you can take your metal detector and following their clues. So one of the characters, Ellen, is running some archaeological digs, but she hasn't got time to do the digs because she's a gardener and she's having to spend most of her time doing gardening. So she's like, why don't you have a go? So you've got your metal detector, go and have a look for these extremely precious items. So you go into her dig sites and you've just got to have a little look around. So like, there's puzzle-like elements that come into each of them, and when you return the item, each of these people will reward you with a new music tape as well, so you can then listen to that at your own desire, basically.
And then how did you spread these items about? Is it you place them all themselves, or is it generative, or what's the...
So every single item is hand-placed on the island. So I used an asset from the asset store called Yet Another Prefab Painter, YAPP. And what that was really helpful for is placing items on a terrain, but also randomizing which item is going to spawn at any one time. So literally went around the entire island, and wherever kind of looked like a good spot. So like nowhere too hilly, and kind of flat green spaces. I'm giving it away a little bit. Placed items there, not in the graveyard, but it didn't actually take that long to place 5,000 items around the island.
So in developing something like this, there must be quite some technical challenges. Which engine were you using, and how did you go about it, and what challenges did you face?
So Unity, and I think the biggest challenge for us is just performance. So it's an open world, and it's just one scene. It's made up of a few different scenes, but they're all loaded at the same time. And like we have, early on, we were very cognizant of sightlines. So like, just in case we did need to like load and unload different parts additively, we could do that. We haven't done that. We've really struggled with culling. So, like, as part of Unity, you know, it is meant to do what's it?
Frustum culling.
Yeah,
is
frustum
camera
culling.
frustum, yeah.
And also, if an object is obscured, then it won't.
Okay,
it'll
yeah.
cull it. It won't show it. But that's just not working correctly. So, like, we have recently discovered that there is a volume for that type of culling that you have to place in Unity. So you learn something every day.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to optimization.
Yeah.
Everyone's always learning.
Yeah.
Unless you're part of a giant team and there's somebody doing it, it's a tough one to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So whereabouts are you in the process now, coming towards release? How far through are you?
Yeah, so we are a few months from release.
Okay.
So, like, haven't formally announced when it is yet, but, like, it is soon. But we're working on the porting for lots of different platforms at the same time. So that optimization is heightened massively. It's nearly been done for quite a long time. Like, even though we started it January last year, but it's just like this final bit of getting it all polished. It's tough.
That last push. A lot of people have been saying to me that you end up surprised at how much of the development process is right at the end, actually, not just sort of in core development, but the marketing aspect, getting the word out there and just getting it to work properly on everything can be quite a challenge. What's the reactions been like so far? Are people enjoying it?
Yeah, I mean, we have been showcasing it since, like, EGX last year, so kind of like October last year, and it's transformed a bit over that time, but like, consistently people love the look and feel of it. So from an art perspective, like, they love the style. You know, people get really hooked on the metal detecting, so they just want to keep exploring and potentially dig up the entire island, which is great. It's exactly what we want. It's a really positive. So, like, I'm really, really happy, proud about the response that we get often.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, and one last thing. I sometimes forget to ask this, but I come from like a music and sound background. What's music and sound doing in this? Who's your designer and how has it been implemented?
So for sound, we're working with two people. So Joseph Russell and Lucas Lemon. So met them both at the National Film and Television School. So this project started there as our final year project, and we're working with them there. And then also the composer we met there, Rotem Freema, and they've, all three of them have kind of been brilliant. Like, sound design team is working really hard right now on just making the islands feel much more immersive from the sound perspective. So birds everywhere, foliage, all making nice rustles and all of that. But just it's an extra salt bait.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's what really kind of tops it all off, isn't it? It's like the cherry on top. Your sound. A lot of people leave it till quite late, but as soon as it goes in there, the atmosphere kind of goes up by double, doesn't it? Yeah, it really finishes things off.
Yeah. And, like, I'm still in love with the soundtrack for the game. And, like, the main thing, we were able to get that recorded in a music studio. So it was part of the National Film and Television School course. It's got it recorded in Air Studio, like a 8-10 piece orchestra.
Oh, awesome.
So, and the heart just slaps.
Thank you very much for talking through it with me. Really good luck for the rest of the show and for your release in an indeterminate amount of months. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
You.
Cheers. Thank you.